Welcome to the Early Years Together, the space where we explore simple, powerful ways to help young children feel heard, understood and deeply connected. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Young.
And I'm Deborah Brown, and each week we dive into the everyday moments that shape a child's early learning. So what's our topic for today's episode, Jacqueline?
Well, this episode is all about supporting parents, carers and families with practical ideas that turn ordinary interactions into meaningful exchanges. It's about the chats at the breakfast table, the questions during play, the bedtime conversations that help children make sense of their world. We'll explore how to tune into your child's thinking, encourage their curiosity and build strong communication habits that last a lifetime.
So whether you're listening on a commute or during a quiet moment with a cup of tea, we're both glad you're here. So let's chat about how to make talking, real, joyful, connected talking, part of everyday family life.
So first of all, it's worth thinking about when there's time in a busy day to have that meaningful chat. It's easy to overlook the small, predictable moments that build secure relationships and positive communication skills. Examples might be that chat over breakfast, the journey to nursery or the park, talking whilst tidying up toys, bath time. All these can be turned into meaningful exchanges if we take the time.
And once we've found the moment, meaningful interaction begins with that adult being an active listener. And in episode 6, we covered techniques for being an active listener and how to encourage children to be active listeners too. So we're not going to cover that again here, but do go back and tune into episode 6 if you haven't yet had a chance to catch it for tips on this. But a brief recap would be to really tune in and be present, getting down to a child's level, letting them finish their thoughts and sentences, and then naming feelings and using pauses effectively.
Then once we have our moment and we're tuned in, using open-ended questions with the children can get the talk going. Episode 4 of this podcast series covers everything that you might need to know about open questions. So again, do have a listen if you need a refresher. But some examples of simply swapping out our usual closed questions might be, for instance, did you have a good day? Could be swapped to, what was the best bit of today? Or did you like this book? Could become, what's your favourite bit of this book and why?
Asking something like, did you eat your snack? Could become, what was for snack today, for instance. And then also questions like, did you play with your friends? Could be turned into, what games did you play today? If you start with those words like what or how or tell me, those questions naturally invite richer answers.
And also avoiding those leading questions, questions like, don't you think that was nice? Where clearly you're inviting the child to say, yes, I think that was nice. But instead asking things like, how did that make you feel?
It's worth remembering to make sure that we give children thinking and processing time. Young children need that quiet pause before they are expected to answer.
And remember to follow the child's lead, to build on their ideas rather than just redirecting them to the answer that you're expecting.
And yes, the National Literacy Trust has a lovely website with videos and ideas for activities for parents and children. It includes content in 22 different languages, and we're going to link the website in the notes for today's episode. So now we get to the thorny issue of screen time. Are they good? Are they bad? What does the research say, Jacqueline?
So research on this is a bit mixed. So scoping reviews of research, for instance, Karani, Share and Maposho 2022 and Bhutani et al 2024, found that screen time had both positive and negative effects on children's language development, although negative effects are pointed out as to be more significant perhaps than the positive effects.
And obviously, if we as adults are staring at a screen and ignoring the children around us, that isn't going to support children to feel connected to us. However, there are some things we can do if screens are being used, and I think that will be really helpful to know.
Yes, so one of the biggest positive shifts that an adult can make is moving from the idea of screen time as a babysitter to screen time as a shared experience. So what does this actually mean in practice? Well, it can mean things like making sure that you sit beside the child, noticing what they're reacting to, what is interesting them, responding to that excitement or questions that they might have, or simply narrating aloud what's happening on the screen.
Yes, Jacqueline, children really do love it when you join their world, even if it's a brief moment. You know, in that time you can spark conversation with some really simple questions. Prompts such as, what do you notice? Or which bit do you think will happen next? Or how do you think that character feels?
And if you're trying to narrate what's going on, it would be things like, wow, that rocket is going fast, or he looks worried, his eyebrows are all scrunched up. Every comment you make makes your child engage with new language, new ideas, and connects to a deeper way for them to understand the story.
It's worth remembering that some content is much better than others. We recommend the website BBC Nursery Rhymes and Songs. Obviously, as the title suggests, it does contain lots of nursery rhymes and songs that are really lovely to share and learn together. And learning doesn't have to end when the episode or the song or the moment ends. You can turn what the child watched into play, into their learning, and you can turn it into supporting their imagination.
Yes, you could try acting out a scene with soft toys, or drawing a character together, or going outside to hunt for something that was seen on the screen, or cooking something inspired by a clip.
An example of this could be where an adult and child watch some gardening occurring together, and then that shared experience inspires them to get outside and plant seeds in pots. Screens can spark curiosity, and it's a great way to take what they've seen and what you've seen with the child and bring it to life.
But I think it's important to take a moment to talk about the guilt associated with allowing children screen time, because it's real and so many parents and carers feel it. But screens are a part of modern family life. Adults use them when they need to cook dinner, take a call, or simply to catch their breath. Then the guilt sets in. But I think a child doesn't need perfection, they just need connection. Moments of attention, shared chats, and your warm presence when you're able to give it. And that all soon adds up.
Yeah, I think it's worth remembering that, those small changes matter. And a few minutes of that shared, really effective time goes a long way. And I think it's always worth remembering that you're doing better than you think.
So moving on from thinking about screen time, even if we're doing our best to encourage talk, if a child is upset or angry, then meaningful chats are going to be challenging. But there are some things that a parent or carer can do to navigate those kinds of situations, turning even these moments into moments that support connection. If you're dealing with big emotions, I'd suggest naming the feeling. So name the feeling, not the behaviour. Naming emotions can be a powerful way to build a sense of emotional literacy for the child. The child feels validated and seen, and also staying calm and close to the child, even if at times that's hard.
Remaining reassuring and using reassuring phrases is another strategy that can be used. Calming phrases might include just letting the child know, you're safe, I'm here. Remembering that to tell the child that the feelings, that it's okay to have these feelings. For a child to know that you're there by saying, I'll help you, and knowing that you're there and you will help figure this out together.
So when we're calming children down, it often helps to build in some choices. So for instance, letting that child feel that they've got a bit of autonomy by asking, would you like a cuddle or some space? Do you want to sit here or over there? Shall we take 5 deep breaths or blow bubbles? And creating those calm down rituals is really important. So having a soft blanket or a calm corner, some kind of sensory object that the children feel really attached to that supports them to calm down.
I think noticing and helping the child to help them make sense of what's happened. Once the child is calm, you can then guide them in some reflection, asking things like, what made you feel upset? And what did your body feel like when you felt that way? And then what helped you to feel better?
And remembering when we're interacting with children that the sequence is to validate and then guide. So, for instance, you might say, it's okay to be angry, which is validation, followed by, let's find something that helps your body feel better, which is a guiding statement.
By doing that, you're teaching emotional words and introducing those little by little. You can encourage parents to do this. You can do it in settings, and actually picking up on those moments that happen every day. You can really help introduce words like happy, sad and angry, and then build on to words like worried, excited, disappointment. There are plenty of pictures that you can display. There are books around emotions, but you can also really pick up on those everyday moments to help you really pin those words that are linked to the emotions.
And remember to celebrate emotional growth. So using praise such as, you've used your words, that was brilliant, or I saw you take a deep breath, that really helped your body.
Well, after talking about all those emotions, I'm sad to say that that's the end of today's episode of the Early Years Together. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your time with us. In a few weeks' time, we'd love to answer any questions you may have on the topic of making time to talk, or to share your stories and also feedback relating to this podcast series. We have attached a link to a Google form in the notes for this podcast, so do reach out and connect with us. We'd really love to have your questions.
And if you've enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review and share it with a friend who might love it too. The university begins a 3-week spring break next week, so our next episode will be available on all the usual platforms from Sunday the 12th of April. Until next time, I'm Dr. Jacqueline Young.
And I'm Deborah Brown, and this has been the Early Years Together. Take care and do keep up those quality interactions.